Hey, this is Daniel from the Southwest Florida Real Estate Channel. People often ask me, hey, Dan, when should I buy real estate? How do I time the market? And what I'll tell you is, like, if you meet a stockbroker and they say, hey, I know exactly what you should buy and when you should buy it and exactly what the value is and how much it's going to go up, I'll tell you what, I think you've met somebody who I think you can even hear on first blush that's somebody that you can't really necessarily listen to, because for some reason they don't know what they're talking about. There is no such thing as timing the market right, because if you meet investors who are involved in future stuff, I'm going to buy this because I know the value will go up in 12 months. That's not real. That's not investing. That's prospecting. And so, here's the thing: is if you come to me and you say, "What if you said this?" Hey, I'm in Southwest Florida. When is the next hurricane going to hit? Do I have the answer to Nobody's going to have the answer to this. And so, you could go to a meteorologist and they won't tell you when the next hurricane is going to hit until it's already about to hit. This is the thing: is you cannot time the market exactly perfectly. You can look at trends. You can look at, for example, in Naples. In 2014, 67% of all residential transactions that were $500,000 sale price or more were cash deals. That's indicative of something. You've got the Association of Realtors in Fort Myers. The Fort Myers Association of Realtors is called like Greater Fort Myers Area and the Beaches, longest realtor association name in the world. But anyway, what they say is that Lee County is going to expand by annual residents of 250,000 people in the next 7 years. But this is all things being equal. Will that really happen? What we're saying is we're on a trajectory right now today for that to happen in November of 2015. So, what's going to happen in the future? Nobody knows. Anybody who tells you they know, they're not being either honest with themselves or you or both. And so, how do I time the market? I don't know. What I can tell you is this: is if you're going to buy real estate, have some good reason to do it other than the value is going to go up. Because values are it's like a stock market. They go up and down, and think of it like this: it's like a pendulum that swings. Think about maybe 1999, maybe 2000, but mostly 2001 to 2005. Think about those values skyrocketing like this. They go like this, and they go really hard this way for about 5 years. Well, what happened? When there was a correction, how that pendulum came back and swung about the same direction and for about the same length of time for about 5 years. Maybe even a little bit more than that, actually. But if you think of this as a pendulum that swings back and forth, that's what you're dealing with a real estate market or a stock market or anything. Now, build into there inflation that's inherent in the system where dollar value goes down, and so sometimes you've got to say, okay, we went like this and then we went like this and now adjust for inflation. So that's the thing: is there's no way to decide when exactly should I buy. You got to look at interest rates. You got to look at what's happening with employment, economic patterns. But more than any of those things, what you got to look at is, why am I buying this thing? That's the real question. Why am I buying this? Am I moving in? Am I buying it because I love it? Am I buying it because I want it to cash flow? And if you want it to cash flow, then you want it to cash flow today. It's not about, later. You look at it in an annual way, and you say, look, what are all my expenses? The insurance, the principal, the interest, the taxes, and then the other things that you've got to account for, which are operating expenses, and then what we call losses, which come in two categories of vacancy and also credit losses. Vacancy loss means nobody's living there, or you've got a unit that's not occupied, and a credit loss means it's occupied but they're not paying. So any property that's been an investment has those numbers that either have been created or should have been created and can be created by your somebody helping you purchase those. But that's what we're looking at there is when it's not about really trying to time the market, which is the heading of this video. What it is rather is trying to figure out, why do I want to buy this thing and how am I going to buy it in a way that makes sense for me.